have a kind of ecosystem where everybody is comfortable giving geolocations. This is the idea. It is not a very difficult thing, but if you understood the whole exercise, it's all manageable and doable by exporter himself.
So there are actually multiple, so I would just like to add one point. There are multiple applications as well, say a GPS camera app. So you can actually use that app and take, ask your supply chain, say the sawmillers or the traders in between to take geolocations from, for example, you're taking it from the farmers. So you can actually go to the place because you'll already be providing an invoice for it. You can take a photograph of the farmer with that invoice and the geolocation would come there automatically, and then it can just be passed down through the supply chain.
And don't punch the data. In the sense, because geolocations are the actual locations. And 3 years or 4 years down the line, anybody can check those geolocations. Whether actual deforestation or degradation has happened or not. They can be verified. It's a verifiable information. So you need to be very sure and then you need geolocation. Yes or anything else? Any
other questions?
Any question?
Do someone need to authorize the due diligence certificate that we give?
No, so you actually do not require any authority to do that. You can send it to your, whoever your supplier is. You can just send it to that person. You don't require any authority for it.
Then who is supposed to cross-check my declaration?
It is basically your declaration itself. It is signed by you.
Did you explain the country risk mechanism? There is a country risk
yes,
mechanism.
there is a country risk mechanism, but the EU still hasn't defined the parameters that will fall under the low, high, or the medium category.
See, the thing is, they are going to place countries in the risk zone. So there will be countries in low risk, there will be countries in moderate risk, and there will be countries in high risk. So the countries like India, I am assuming that since we have a very robust forest management system, if we are there in the low risk category, so there will be minimal of the checking. Am I right?
Checking, yes.
Minimal of the checking. So it may be among 3 lakhs of pieces, few shipments are going to be checked. But you do not know. If in those few shipments, one can be your shipment. So you need to give proper information to them. So that is the thing.
And the liability basically does not fall on you. It falls on your whoever you're supplying it to. It is their responsibility. They need to.
They are not saying anything to you. See, the operators, they are calling them operators. So the jurisdiction falls on them. But operators are sourcing from you. So what operators are saying to you is, you give us this information. So if anything happens, it happens to them. And the whole system falls if the information is wrong. The confidence level goes down. So you need to provide the correct information to the operator and he'll be scrutinized. Right?
And one more thing to add on, sir, is that after, say, a year down the line, after it gets implemented, there's a possibility that the mechanism for high, medium, low, that will again get changed. Yes, that will get reviewed as well.
But it is very much doable. Very much doable.
Actually, very simple. So basically, you need to ensure that your supplier is able to give it, and you need to make them, responsible enough that they get that information. So, for example, let's take an example of any furniture industry. Their main sourcing comes from the sawmillers. Now, sawmillers actually cut our purchase invoice. If you are able to ensure that when the sawmiller is cutting a purchase invoice, they get geolocations from that farmer's level, you would also get that information.
Dipesh, you want to add something?
Well, I just want to request if you want to ask anything.
So the thing is, if we purchase wood from government sources,
Yes.
then how we can get geolocation from them?
So there are three ways around it. One is that even the government sources. I recently was reviewing a COC of a client. I saw that they had purchased from a government source, they were able to go to the DFO's office. They got a geolocation from them. So it is not like the government sources do not have geolocations. They may be able to tell you, say, if not the exact geolocation, they'll be able to tell you that it was, say, cut from during a tree widening, say a root widening expedition, say NH11. So you know that it was in that area. So what happens is when a tree is cut from a government source, they issue a Ravanna.
Yes.
In that Ravanna, they actually tell the exact location of it or a nearby. So it's a
Sir,
slightly
generally they give a number that is called Khasra and Khatani number.
yes.
And for that number, we don't have geolocation, proper geolocation. We only have Khasra and Khatani number
Yes.
that is registered in their government house.
Yes.
So that is the problem.
So even for Khasra and Khatoni number, you actually have geolocations with the government department. It is just that they need. So even with the government, they also need to ensure that that information is provided to you when you are requesting. But it is available with them. So I was recently doing an audit. So I came to know I was doing this audit for a PFC client. I came to know that they also have this system in place. So
See, everything is there. Everything is there. But we need to ensure that the whole ecosystem works towards one common goal. Information is there in a scattered manner. Forest department knows the exact geolocation of where the harvesting is taking place. The farmers do know where it is happening, where the harvesting is done. But the only things are to be placed, put in a place, so that documentation can be completed. And there is no fudging.
From the farmers, no? So definitely there is no challenge to get the geo coordinates because the either information is available in the Khasra receipt, right? Once you receive the Khasra number of the farmer, you reach to the origin, okay? And it is very easy to gather the geo.
आप एक डॉक्यूमेंट लेके दिखा दे रहा हूँ
जी।
आप उनसे डॉक्यूमेंट शेयर कर रहे हैं आपको एग्जैक्ट बता देंगे कैसे जियो लोकेशन मिलता है आपको चैलेंज नहीं है आपके पास इन्फॉर्मेशन है खसरा खतौनी में होता है
For India, as far as India is concerned, we are in the better side because our exporters, major member exporters, are getting good from tree outside forest. So deforestation-free product they are already using it
Yes.
because they are taking wood from the outside forest area.
Dikesh, I just want to confirm that if
We have to comply with the regulation
international.
international.
ये हमारा
That is their requirement.
आपका बायर बोल रहा है आपसे आपका यूएस का बायर नहीं बोल रहा अगर आपको यूएस को सप्लाई करना है यूरोप छोड़ दीजिए उसके बाद कहीं सप्लाई करना
जी।
और यूरिया मैम कोई चीज़ है यूएस ने तो नहीं बोला आपसे
no,
चाइना ने नहीं बोला साउथ ईस्ट एशिया भेजे कहीं भेजे उन्होंने कुछ नहीं बोला ये रिक्वायरमेंट इज फ्रॉम यूरोप ओनली
From Europe.
एंड नॉट फॉर इंडिया फॉर द होल वर्ल्ड मतलब चाइना को भी अगर भेजना है तो चाइना आप जानते हैं चाइना इम्पोर्ट करता है मैक्सिमम गुड दे इम्पोर्ट फ्रॉम अफ्रीका और अदर कंट्रीज एंगोला से कर रहा है मान लीजिए डेमोक्रेटिक रिपब्लिक ऑफ कॉन्गो से कर रहा है तो उसे कॉन्गो की जो जियो लोकेशन है वो भी उसे देनी पड़ेगी अपने कागज में हिसाब में कॉन्गो से खरीद रहा हूँ तो कॉन्गो में मुझे जहाँ से काटनी आती है
कि डिफॉरेस्टेशन नहीं कर रहे हैं
क्वेश्चन
So the major data that we need for
full
the EUDR is.
the few parameters that you require.
So what do you mean by geolocation? Just the latitude, longitude that we take from the Google map, it's enough?
Yes, that
साइकिल
is-
वाला चार्ट समझाओ
any plot of land, from any plot of land from a farmer's land, and the area is less than 4 hectares, then you only require one geolocation, that is one point. But if you are taking from a farmer's land, which is more than 4 hectares, then you require 4 points, a minimum of 4 points.
What hectare is?
That geolocation, how we will get, like the Google map geolocation is enough? Or-
So there are multiple applications as well. So there is one called GPS map camera. So you can either ask the whoever is in your supply chain to get that take a photo of that area. The geolocations would be present over there.
Google map location is also supplies the coordinates, but we need up to 6
Decimals.
Actually, we are dealing with rubber floor coverings, and in rubber, it's
Area is more.
the deforestation should not have happened after 2019. So how do we cross check like whether the area was deforested before 2019 or not? Like if we are doing by ourselves.
That is the work of a certification body who is going to certify now. They will verify.
No, we were talking that we can do it by ourselves by doing.
They are doing it on their own.
Yeah.
Let me answer. So for rubber, it's actually very easy. Now you would have your own say plot of land or a third party agreement for a plot of land, right? You would also get to know when it was planted, the rubber trees, right? Second, when you look at the land records of that particular person, if that land record is after 2019, you don't have to worry. If there's a forest nearby, you'll come to know if the land has been acquired by someone else. So these are some of the points that need to be looked at. But for rubber plantations, it's actually very easy for compliance. The main issue falls with companies such as that are dealing in cattle, that are dealing in wood, because there are multiple people that the product goes through, or multiple hands. So for cattle, someone may have a cattle over here, he sells it later down the life cycle. So for them, it's a difficult regulation. For rubber plantations, cocoa plantations, you don't have to worry much.
Varun is still here with us because the time was 4:30. So some other exporters may join in. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask him once we close this center. Right? So Varun, you can come this side. Come on.
Sir.
अगर आप सोच रहे होंगे कि मैं यहाँ पे हूँ, इनको ये दिए ट्रॉफी, अगर कोई आपका कोई क्वेश्चन हो इसके बारे में तो आप मुझसे भी पूछ सकते हैं।
सर का बहुत अनुभव है सर, 40 साल से सर बैठते हैं सर। हैव बीन इन द बिजनेस फॉर लास्ट 40 years एंड ही हैज बीन अ चेयरमैन ट्वाइस, और जो 40 साल का अनुभव सर के पास है।
क्योंकि एक्सपोर्ट कोई इतनी मुश्किल नहीं है, जैसे ये EUDR इन्होंने यूरोपियन यूनियन ने भी किया है, मगर इसके अंदर ही ठीक है, तुम्हें जियो लोकेशन चाहिए। अगर खतौनी की बात हुई है या खतौनी से सारा कुछ पता चल जाता है, भाई ये लैंड गुड़गांव में है, गुड़गांव में मांगर प्लेस के अंदर है, तो सारी इंफॉर्मेशन इनकी तहसील के अंदर तहसीलदार के वहाँ पे होती है। यू कैन कॉन्टेक्ट पटवारी ऑल्सो, मगर आजकल तो सारा कुछ ऑनलाइन है, ये पूरा नंबर तो वो चीज़ आ जाती है। अभी क्या हो रहा है कि जितनी भी लकड़ी इनकी आ रही है, इट्स कमिंग फ्रॉम पंजाब के अंदर अगर आप जाएं, काफ़ी खेत हैं, खेतों की जो एक जिसको आप मुंडेर या डोली कहते हैं, तो उसके ऊपर कोई पेड़ शीशम के लगा देता है, क्योंकि शीशम ग्रोज वेरी फास्ट। मगर अभी क्या हुआ, शीशम के ऊपर भी इन्होंने थोड़ी सी एक्सपोर्ट के अंदर रिस्ट्रिक्शन लगा दी है। एक रोज वुड है, उसके ऊपर भी इन्होंने लगा दी है, भाई या तो इसके तुम डिटेल लाओ कि कहाँ पे शीशम कौन सी जगह से ली और उस आदमी ने किस मंडी के अंदर बेची, और मंडी ने फिर जाके जोधपुर जयपुर जहाँ पे भी बेची, उसका एक रिकॉर्ड चाहिए होता है उनको। तो दीज आर द थिंग कमिंग अप। मगर आने वाले टाइम के अंदर इतना जरूरी है कि यूरोप के अंदर थोड़ी डिफिकल्टीज आएंगी, सो वी हैव टू प्रिपेयर नाउ। थैंक यू।
I'll try and make it as summarize it as quickly as the more people, let them also learn. Summarizing, EUDR is basically only for Europe, European Union Deforestation Regulation, with the ultimate objective of reducing global deforestation, which is a significant driver for climate change. It wants to ensure that the products are made from a deforestation-free or forest degradation-free areas. They are covered by a due diligence statement and have been made in accordance with the local regulations of the country of origin. Basically, it wants to also limit the agricultural expansion into the forest. these are some of the products that EUDR falls, the scope falls under, which is cocoa, coffee, soya, cattle, wood, and rubber. You can have a look at the HSN codes mentioned in the EUDR. I'm just going over the brief timeline.
इतनी जल्दी ना थोड़ा स्लो because अभी लोग आए हैं एकदम
So
डिटेल में जाओ पीछे वाली स्क्रीन.
So these are some of the products that fall under the scope of the EUDR. And basically, not only these products, but also their derivatives. I'll go into the next slide, which is the timeline. So it started in November 2021, where there was a need for it, and they started working on the proposal. By 2022, the provisional political agreement was for EUDR was made.
Last slide I have a question. So if you are having cattle, so the derivative like leather coming from cattle also falls under this category?
Yes.
Leather products. And if we are making leather furniture, both.
Yes. So now we'll come to the last FAQ that I had spoken about, which is mixing of items. So what is that item primarily? So let's talk about a chair with leather, say seat. Now, what is that? It is a chair, right? Because it is a chair, you require a DDS for the chair itself, not for the leather.
And what about rubber? If we are using rubber wood as a raw material?
What is the final product?
Chair. Out of
So you
rubber.
require, so you're making a chair, right? Chair. Chair is a final product. So you're making from rubber as an extract. So yes, rubber is an extract. So you require a DDS.
What is the coffee here? I mean, what is the likelihood of impact of that?
Okay.
आप थोड़ा डिटेल में जाके बातें समझ नहीं आएगी ऐसे. मैं तो सिर्फ एक जानता हूँ, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही है. Sorry to say. What like you say coffee now?
So
What
what
does it
happens?
mean to people? How coffee is here? And what is the impact? What is the reason actually?
Okay.
Yes.
The reason behind the EUDR is basically that they want to reduce forest degradation that has been converting into agricultural plantations, say of coffee, of cocoa, of palm oil. So they want to reduce that. And to reduce that, they came up with the EUDR. So the implication for people, say, a chocolate manufacturer who is using cocoa as a base product is that he requires a due diligence statement from the country of origin till he exports it. It needs to follow all the supply chain needs to follow all legalities of origin and of production. So, say for cocoa, it originates from Ghana. So, in Ghana, where was that the plant originating from? Was it from a deforestation area or was it from a forest degradation-free area? That needs to be made clear. So, you require a due diligence statement or a documentation from Ghana that says it originates from a deforestation-free or a forest degradation-free area, as well as the geolocations for it. So until and unless that is mentioned in the document that you receive while importing the cocoa, you won't be able to sell it ahead to the European market. You can sell it to any other country, but not to any of the European market. After 30th December 2024. Till now, until and unless it gets.
One question, when you say wood,
Yes.
so one is like normal wood and the new wood, and one is the recycled wood. Does it also cover recycled wood?
Yes, so I'll come into that. For recycled wood, has it completed its life cycle? That is the question that is being asked.
And what is the life cycle? How do you derive a life cycle of a wood? How do you, judge?
So the EUDR has actually not mentioned of the life cycle of a wood. They mentioned the life cycle of, say, a paper. So if you have completely used of a paper and then put it into a recycled format, it will
Comes under recycle.
come under
So it's not, at the moment it's not specified. If a wood is a new wood, it's a recycled wood. You don't have any timeline, or you cannot specify कि ये लकड़ी नई है या पुरानी
They
है.
specified the product life. Like you are sitting on a chair,
Right.
the product life of chair goes away. That is
even if it is a wooden crate, if it is only meant to support that item and would not be placed under the EU for sale, it will not come under that.
What about wooden pallets? Pallets will also not be.
Yes, if it is only meant to support that item. Now we'll come to the second question. Do recycled products fall under the EUDR? I think
Coming from the legal sources that we've been able to do through which. Now what they've done is, this is an extension of EUDR. Now they've gone one step forward. They are seeking geolocations, and the objective is noble. The whole world accepts that the objective is noble because they want to prove that on the one hand we are using wood for generating livelihood, for export, for business and everything, but that should not lead to deforestation or degradation. So the whole world accepts this. I mean, this has to be there because it's good for the humanity that we have got, we get a good forest cover. But every country has its own challenge. Now this EU regulation is not for India, it is for the whole world. Any country who aspires to or who intends to supply to the European Union has to comply with that. The degree of preparedness of countries varies. From India to China to Venezuela to Congo to Vietnam to Laos and so on and so forth. But whole world agrees with that. But they are asking for time. So the Commission has agreed that they understand the challenges and they have proposed that they have deferred it for 1 year. And it has to be ratified by European Parliament. And we need to get our act together. Now we need to start asking the vendors or the suppliers in the whole supply chain to start putting the geolocations in the whole chain of custody documents. And one more thing. See, geolocations are easily verifiable. See, you can't fudge it. See, you have to put a geolocation which is correct. Because 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years down the line, if they check whether the geolocation which you gave 2 years back or 3 years back, whether that has not resulted in deforestation or degradation, they can check it. So that we have to follow. So that is the whole system.
How will they check it?
Geolocation is easily verifiable.
That's what I'm saying. The second part is going to be the satellite imagery and stuff. So that is why government of India needs to take a stand on it and say this is not going to happen.
No, see, we have taken a stand. We have said.
To geolocation is fine, but going beyond and beyond is only going to lead to further. There's already a shrinkage in business after which, because Shisha has stopped.
I know, but we have found a way out of it. We have found a way out wherein Shisha we can export. And there's a shipment certificate that we provide. So, closing our eyes to what is happening, suppose 1 year down the line, India says we are not accepting it. And the whole world, your competitors comply to it. Then we are the only ones who do business. They are not. So, I know, at a government level, India is having, trying to have an India-EU FTA. They are working towards that. So they have that in mind. They understand that this is a non-tariff barrier that they have to put. And believe you me, as we go along, you must have seen how WTO has evolved, how tariff barriers have been shrunk and non-tariff barriers have come into existence. Now this is one of that. And there are many more to come. So we need to understand the realities of business and start preparing ourselves. Because if you don't, the others are going to comply with it. And then we are going to do this. At that point.
So Vriksh is the only competent authority right now for this object.
No, not for this. You can do it on your own. Our faculty is going to explain it to you.
That's what I'm asking.
Huh. Let's hear it from them. Yeah.
So, you for the due diligence statement, you do not require a third party for it. You can do it by yourself. You can submit it to your, whoever your buyer is. You can make it on your own and send it to them. So that you don't require Vriksh or EPCH.
I have a question on the same thing. Just I'm rephrasing what you mentioned. You mentioned that exporter can submit the DDS, but is there any requirement about what certification the exporter is supposed to have before he can submit DDS? Applicability criteria for it.
The EUDR has not recognized any certification schemes that includes FSC and BEF. So they have not recognized any schemes. It is up to you and your buyer if for example they want to endorse any particular scheme. Right?
So basically, you are your buyer. If your buyer is comfortable, your due diligence statement will suffice. But only what buyer is saying is that if 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line, if the European Union asks the buyer to prove it, he'll be able to prove it. Through you. So that is only.
If you're, for example, you're sending Shisham, there are multiple COCs documents that are required for it.
Irrespective of the vote, is there any requirement list of documents which is along with and supporting document for the due diligence certificate?
No, there are no other documents, it's just the statement itself. So that statement should contain the aspects that I mentioned earlier. But if it covers all that, you don't require any other additional documents. Obviously your COC and all other documents that you used to send earlier, but no additional documents.
So the contents of that certificate, for that procurement of those contents, you need certificates which are on the supply chain.
Yes.
Basically, you need a complete
COC.
your complete chain, and like in order to give you a geolocation, you need to have the complete bills and everything from your vendor. And the main problem is when you go to your vendor and you ask them that I need the geolocation, 99% of your vendors will not be able to give you the geolocation except 2 or 3 which are in India, like Puja Board or other
And 2 and 3 they are asking for extra.
and they are asking for extra surcharge.
Exactly.
So you don't get them the same price.
Exactly. And the buyer is not ready to pay that surcharge.
Buyers are already to squeeze the price.
Exactly.
And just one question. So I am dependent on Puja Wood, for example, that he gave me, he's saying that yes, EUDR is enough. How would I know that it's verified, it's right or wrong?
See, for that you can have look at a certification body such as GCR, or you can look at EPCH or Vriksh. That will basically look at that aspect.
So I get the documents, the location and everything, and then I send it to these EPCH that to verify if it's right.
A lot of buyers, they have specified some bodies like GTS, Global Tracing Solutions. They have their own platforms, and buyers are asking them that we are us as vendors, and they are to log into their platform, give our document to them. So they act like a middleman to prove our document that that's okay for the buyer or not.
करण जी, आपके ऑफिस में कोई बंदा हो जो थोड़ा पढ़ा लिखा हो, वो खुद भी कर सकता है. आपके पास जियो लोकेशन अगर आ जाती है, मान लीजिए आपने डॉक्यूमेंट वेरीफाई कराना है, तो वो लोग गूगल अर्थ पे डालेगा जियो कोऑर्डिनेट्स और चेक कर लेगा लास्ट 5 इयर्स में क्या स्टेटस था उसका. वो सारा गूगल अर्थ पे अवेलेबल है.
सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट मुद्दा है जियो लोकेशन लाना, उसके लिए पैसा खर्च करना है.
नहीं, वो जियो लोकेशन आपने 10 लोगों को अगर कोई सेम ही शेयर कर दी
तो सर क्रेडिबिलिटी उसकी क्या है,
एग्जैक्टली
आपका क्या रिलेशन है उनके साथ में, दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट.
Any other question? और किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है तो बताएं. नहीं तो वरुण is here with us. We can close this and we can discuss amongst ourselves. कोई और क्वेश्चन किसी का हो? Anyone?
Chain of custody documents.
For Vriksh, there is already a charge that is required
Vriksh is separate
in the shipment.
If I am not a Vriksh company, if I am not a Vriksh compliant company, can I still get a certificate from you or the DDS done from you?
That needs to be.
That is not the work out.
Not yet worked out. So it's not mandatory for me to be a Vriksh compliant factory to get it. Still you don't know whether.
I don't know.
You still don't know that question.
So I think